The Mini Zapper is back because I have another light gun game to review today, and that game is Meltdown for your Atari 7800 Pro system. And according to the box art, it shows us why we should all be afraid of nuclear sinkholes. Watch out for them, they're bad. Let's go ahead and take Meltdown, pop it in my Atari 7800 Pro system, and see how it holds up today. Let's go to the game. Meltdown was published by Atari and carries a copyright year of 1990, making it one of the last releases for the system, and coming out after the Sega Genesis had already been released. It requires the Atari XG1 light gun that came bundled with the Atari XE system and was hard to find sold separately. According to the manual, a gang of terrorists have sabotaged several nuclear reactors by unleashing deadly sparks, which are spelled with an X at the end, showing you just how bad these terrorists are. These sparks are able to break down control rods and make their way to the core, creating a meltdown. Now it's up to you alone to destroy these sparks with this specially designed gun. Don't panic! Meltdown is a light gun game for 1 or 2 players alternating and has 2 modes of difficulty, novice or expert. Evidently these terrorists have never heard of normal. The game plays a lot like a light gun version of Reactor, of which I reviewed the 2600 version in episode 132. Before each level, you are shown a blueprint of that level, the amount of sparks you need to eliminate to complete the level, and the power-ups you can gain for that level. When the level starts, 2 protons will travel on the outside edge of the screen, usually releasing a spark whenever they connect. Once a spark hits the screen, you will want to shoot it to destroy it, and protect the purplish control rods from being damaged and destroyed. You also need to be careful as your shots can damage the control rods too. When you shoot, if you don't hit anything, your shot will leave a temporary circle-shaped barrier on the screen that sparks can bounce off of. You can have up to 4 of these on screen at a time. From time to time, the reactor will cause earthquakes that can also damage the rods. As the rods become damaged, the walls will begin to collapse. If fully collapsed, your game ends in a meltdown. If you eliminate all the necessary number of sparks, you will advance to the next level. Pass all 20 levels in the game, and you win. The game also allows you to enter a passcode to start at different levels, which is a pretty unique feature for a 7800 game. There are 5 types of sparks in the game. They can either be blue or red, with red sparks causing more damage. Container sparks start every round and explode into 6 tiny bounder sparks when shot, or when they hit a rod or wall. The bounder sparks will bounce around until shot. Exploding sparks can be shot harmlessly when they are blue, but if you shoot them when they are red, they will send particles into 4 directions. Expanding sparks grow with each hit and take 5 hits to destroy. Quick sparks also require 5 hits to destroy and increase in speed after every hit. There are 7 power-ups in the game, but the selection of which ones are available varies from level to level. Most of the power-ups last for the entire level, however the R power-up, which repairs some of the control rod damage on the screen, does not. The B is for the big shot power-up that doubles the size of the barriers you make. The 2 power-up lets you place 2 extra barriers, for a total of 6 on screen instead of 4. The C power-up allows for continuous firing, which really saves your finger. The F power-up temporarily freezes everything on screen. The K power-up turns your barriers into killer barriers that will destroy sparks that touch them. The P power-up helps protect the control rods by placing indestructible barriers around them. And the D power-up doubles point values. Point-wise, you get 10 points for destroying container sparks, 20 points for bounder sparks, 40 points for exploding sparks, or their particles, 10 points each for the first 4 hits on expanding and quick sparks, and then 50 points for destroying one of them on the 5th hit. You also get 1 entire point every time a spark hits a barrier. You can also get 100 points for shooting bonus blocks that occasionally appear. Not only that, but every time you shoot more than 1 in a row, the value of the block increases by 100 points each time. Graphically speaking, there isn't much to the game due to the small size of everything and the overall bland level design. Sound and music wise, I like the opening theme and the sound effects were okay. And because all you do is shoot tiny shapes, this is a family friendly game. At the time I researched on eBay, new copies were selling for $13 to $17 a piece including shipping. So what did I think of Meltdown? Overall, I wasn't very impressed. I'll give it props for the passcode feature, but overall I found the game bland and requiring too much shooting, especially if you try to complete all 20 levels in a single sitting. And this game really brings out the accuracy issues of the Atari light gun. I've noticed that when I aim at something in any Atari light gun game, my shot ends up registering a little to the left of where I aimed. And this was really brought out in this game, which features a lot of tiny targets. So the combination of tiny targets and the inaccurate light gun leads to an unenjoyable enjoyable light gun game experience. So where am I going to rank Meltdown? Well, I'd rather play the recently reviewed Sentinel at 45, another underwhelming light gun game, and I really struggled between this and Fight Night at 46. But I think I'd rather deal with a frustrating boxing game than shooting tiny targets with an inaccurate light gun. So out of the 50 games I've now ranked on the 7800, Meltdown is sparking into the 47 position. Meltdown's tiny targets made for a poor choice for an Atari light gun game. At this time, I'd like to thank Paul from the Retro Obscure podcast for sending me this game. Thanks, Paul. You're a righteous dude. So what do you think of Meltdown? Whether you agree or disagree with me, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Also, feel free to click the like and subscribe buttons, and if you'd like to support the show, you could do so at Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/NoSwearGamer for more information. You can also follow me on both the Facebook or the Twitter, and I'm also a member of the Retro Junkies Network. You can find more retro podcasts and videos at theretrojunkies.com. Thank you for giving me a little part of your day, and I look forward to seeing you next time in the next episode of the No Swear Gamer. Take care and watch out for sparks, especially if they are spelled with an X.